Hello. I feel like I need to get new shoes for this outfit. All right. Back to the Indigo disc with us. Oh yeah, I can't get to the hamlet. Yeah, maybe I'm not going to record things until I get to the hamlet. Save me some disk space. Not the hamlet, but the downstairs medial circuit. Ooh, orb. I was just thinking, I haven't found a single orb this entire expansion. So it tells the Asia's cope seethe mauled, and I think about this a lot. Uh, it makes sense. Okay. It's on Amaterasu. Alright, let's go interrogate people. Hello there, we weren't expecting visitors, not with the use of the lift being restricted. How did you make it down here anyway? The mine shaft, you say? Well, you're a much hardier soul than I. Under normal circumstances, I'd reward such tenacity with a guided tour of the fields, but I'm afraid the forum has us filling order lists a mile long. Massive yet detailed requests, literal wagon loads of crop samples, and hardly any time to put them together. When I first heard of this grand reorganization, I assumed we would be shuffling around old stock to make room for the new. Then came the orders for ridiculous quantities of seeds we've already thoroughly researched. Passing strange, eh? I pressed for an explanation, and I was met with vague assurances that all will be revealed in due course. Not the most satisfying answer. A field full of ripe vegetables being left to rot on the vine. Not a single picker hard at work. Clearly procuring readily available fresh food is not the forum's priority. The gourds we grow here are something of agricultural wonder. We crossbreed varieties from all across the realm to help create pumpkins that are sweet, sizable, and rich in nutrients. Nope. So you spent years researching these high-yield cultivation techniques? Do I have aught to be taken down below? More than I can carry, and then some. Most of our stock is sent off via the cargo lift, but some have been earmarked for aerial transport. Hence the stacks of crates atop the hill over there. Gods, hauling that lot up that slope was a job and a half. What crops are we raising? Well, as you can see, this one's a variety of grape. Only needs a good source of sunlight to grow, and the conditions here are nothing short of perfect. Hardly surprising, given it's native to a particular locale in the very place upon which Labyrinthos was modeled, a region in the south of Ilzabard. It boasts remarkable habitat diversity, allowing for a myriad of flora and fauna to thrive. Chilly peaks to the north give way for swaths, temperate plains, which in turn transition to a hot, humid coastline. Such bountiful territory is ever contested, as you might expect. It used to be called Corvos before the Imperials renamed it Locus Summarenus. The forum saw it not as a prize, however, but a researcher's ideal environment, one whose climates we strove to recreate within the confines of Labyrinthos. It's since provided a rich foundation for countless experiments in cultivation. Are you also here on quests? No, you're level 90. You wouldn't be doing quests here. Unless you're decidedly far ahead of me in level. I guess I did take a while to level up Gunbreaker so my summoner wouldn't get to 90. God. Onion boy! I was getting a drink of water! Nope, I don't. Oh my god. Will you stop? Why are the Charlians cultivating vegetation that's alive and tries to kill you? Oh my god. Stop. I just want to do... You know, I should probably just leave. There we go. Investigate the stacked boxes. Labels on these crates tell a story of their contents. Bundles of common seeds and saplings accompanied by sheaves of reports. Oh, Silent Princess.
Hard to look away, isn't it? But they're more than pretty flowers. Heart blooms are attuned to ambient emotion. You don't seem convinced, but believe me, it's true. This ashen grey, for instance, it mirrors the anxiety and urgency of those working nearby as they rush to fulfill sudden orders. Intense feelings like those spur the petals to change colour. Bright glowing hues in the presence of joy, dark subdued shades for frustration or despair. Yet even with the collected wisdom of Charlian at our disposal, we've yet to identify the underlying principle of this empathic effect.
I think we should...
And there are other mysteries besides. Although the flower is extraordinarily long-lived, its low reproductive rate has made it difficult to find younger populations growing in the wild. With too few sightings to map its distribution, and no closely related species to track, we've been unable to pinpoint its land of origin. To further complicate matters, every culture, even dimly aware of its existence, has given it a different name and mythos. Our attempts to study it via the historical record have been an exercise in frustration. As an avid botanist myself, I should one day like to unravel the Heartbloom's secrets. But I'm afraid other duties must take precedence. I will leave you to your thoughts.
I think we should give forum members Heartblooms as a gift.
Have you learned aught of interest?
Mood rings are beyond the understanding of Charlian.
A flower that reacts to one's feelings? Strange. I must say, I have never heard of such a thing.
This is all very fascinating. But as it stands, we've failed to gain any significant insight into the Forum's undertaking.
Indeed. While there is certainly enough activity to support Erenville's supposition that a priority has been placed on improving food production, unfortunately for our investigation, these workers were never informed as to how their duties serve the master plan.
If only we could interrogate the Forum members directly. Isn't that the entrance to the Archaeum? Look, there. I think that's Erenville.
A little difficult to tell from here, but I think you're right. He did say he was coming down to make his report.
Erenville receives his orders from the Forum. Would it not follow, then, that the superior to whom he reports is a Forum member? Or at least a close associate?
You mean to eavesdrop on their conversation? What of the risks?
Ours alone to bear. We won't interfere with Erenville's work, nor will he be implicated as an accomplice. If you're not comfortable taking part, I can do this alone.
Nay. I said myself that I wished to know Father's intentions. And no answers will be forthcoming should we simply ask nicely.
We can apologize later, should it come to it. Right now, we need every crumb of information we can get our hands on. Consequences be damned.
It might be best if you came along as well. In fact, we should all... Cryo?
Oh, yes. That certainly sounds like a plan.
I'm glad you agree.
Quickly! Erenville is on the move. We need to get closer before we lose him.
Almost. I can almost reach you.
Forgive me, my attention's been elsewhere. We were following Erenville, weren't we? Let's get after him already. We've waited too long as it is. Feels wrong to spy on Erenville, helpful as he's been, but what other choice do we have? Cryo's still feeling unwell. I've never seen her so distracted. Keep an eye on her, but keep moving, too. We cannot let our quarry slip away. Erenville is headed westwards along the path outside the Archaeon. Come on, we can catch him. Where are we going? No, up this way. Is it? There. I can still hear it. We've fallen too far behind, and this damn mist won't help matters. Seems Shola was just to have a word with us. What mist? Hold a moment, I have an idea. Memory serves, a colossal wall-like structure is Log Station Beta, one of Labyrinthos' climate control centers. It should have its own lifts, with which one could access the upper and lower tiers. If I were an agent of the Forum, it would make for a convenient meeting place. But even if we happen to find Ehrenvel in company of said agent, we cannot expect them to reveal issues of import as we nonchalantly stroll past. Nay, we shall have to remain undetected. If only Graha and his vanish spell were here. Oh, but there are other ways of turning invisible. Hippity hop, my little toads! Goodness! Unaccustomed to transfiguration? Worry not, it'll wear off with passage of time. I suggest you and your green companions hop along and catch up with Ehrenvel. Should you feel the magic's fading, return to me and I'll refresh the enchantment. And what am I to do in the meantime? Wait here with me. In your current state of mind, you're not as likely to leap into the jaws of a predator as you would learn of it. You're as likely to leap into the jaws of a predator as you would learn of anything of note. Which reminds me, where the creatures hereabouts, in that form, you are essentially defenseless. You've changed into a toad! You must remain transfigured in order to progress with the quest objectives. The return to your transfigured status if you move too far away. Look for to your map for the transfiguration's area of effect. So you can use Shola to restore or prolong the transfiguration. Alpha Toad and Alatoad are now accompanying you. Keep them at your side in order to proceed with quest objectives. Alpha Toad and Alatoad. You can leave your quest companions behind, but yeah, okay, cool, whatever. I'm very sad that their NPC names have not changed to Alpha Toad and Alatoad. Also, there's a wayward chocobo hanging out, and a pig. My lad, we are the same size now. Ribbit, ribbit. Alpha Toad attempts to and fails to shake his head, but you nevertheless understand that he is telling you this is the wrong way. Alatoad turns to face the north. Perhaps she's suggesting you cross the bridge.
I trust you will find your compensation to be more than satisfactory. We wish to make clear that we are pleased with the efficiency and thoroughness of your work. So much so that we have come bearing new tasks in need of your competent hand.
Another lengthy list. If I may speak frankly, the Gleaners have been pushed to the point of collapse by your unending demands. We are not familiars to be exploited. We are Charlian scholars, and we deserve an explanation for this unseemly treatment. What warrants such urgency?
In an age long past, Charlian was charged with a momentous duty. And now that word of the final days hangs heavy in the air, the time has come for us to fulfill that charge. I can say no more, but I promise you this. All will be revealed in due course. And when it has, you will understand that your toil was in service to the greatest good.
Then I will do your bidding. For now. But unless you wish the Gleaners to rise up in protest, I advise you to offer tangible improvements for our working conditions. Your promised revelation does nothing to address present circumstances.
A fair point. Your concerns will be conveyed to the Forum.
I looked at him, and he looked at me, and I looked at him, he looked at me.
I hope that was informative. You may consider my debt to you repaid in full. While I do have my reservations about the Forum, I want to believe that they have our best interests at heart. Which is why I'm reassured that you're busy sniffing out the truth of things. We can ill afford to place all our eggs in one basket, this master plan of theirs, without first understanding the risks involved.
Wait! How did you know it was us?
If you mean to impersonate a toad, try studying the real thing. And don't try to fool an expert.
I like Aaronvel, he's cool. Our toad performance needs work, apparently. I'll have to pay more attention to the next time I see one. I suppose we should have known a gleaner who specializes in animal procurement would not be so easily deceived. He seemed inclined to put his trust in us all the same. More importantly, perhaps we discovered a new piece of the puzzle, this momentous duty the Forum agent mentioned. Charlian's been called to action, and the Telophoro's declaration was the catalyst. Whatever charge it is they hope to fulfill, they deem it of sufficient import to disrupt all of Labyrinthos, not to mention ignore Eorzea's request for aid. What duty could warrant a direct involvement of the Forum and the commitment to all of its resources? Judging by what we had just heard, none of the Gleaners were offered any kind of explanation. At this point, it seems abundantly clear that we'll learn nothing new by pressing them further. We should head back to Y'shtola and Krau for the moment, see what they think of this. funny how normal the forest seems now. As a toad, it was also much more ominous and threatening. Where's Kryl? Welcome back. I trust you found Erenville then? Interesting. I had a feeling you'd learn something of import, even if that something was simply a confirmation that no one knows much of anything. We should share this with Kryl, and then discuss how we'd like to proceed. Assuming we'd find her back at the farm, she was still behaving oddly, so I bade her return and rest there. Perhaps not the best decision in hindsight. Would you mind checking near the flowers she was entranced by? The rest of us can survey more distant areas, just in case she decided to wander. Are these towers supposed to also be lifts? Oh, there's a mark train happening. But I'm pretty sure I probably can't get to it because... Oh no, I could get to it. Can I help in any meaningful way? Oh shit. Oh. Inside. No, go away, Stray Queen. I'm here. I've been rewarded. Next Ultima Thule. I haven't been there. Okay. Well, I helped. Goodbye, friends. It says I've been rewarded for my contribution. Did it give me anything? I don't even know what that mark was. Is it just I got tombstones? Mostly get tombstones. Okay. Okay, well, I helped. Also, let me swap back to Gunbreaker. No. I'm not fighting you, Onion. Go away.
For you. The spell will keep it from wilting. She said you would need it for the journey ahead. Will you speak with her now? I cannot hope to match Minfilia's clarity, of course, but...
Thank you. Do not worry. She has lent me her body for only a moment. Just as I could not save the first from the flood of light, it has become arduous for me to interact with the physical world without assistance. Though I might converse with you for a time, the incorporeal form I assumed on the ship would be incapable of casting even the simplest enchantment. It is in the depths of the ethereal sea, the place to which all life returns, where my influence is greatest. After Menphilia's sacrifice on the first, it was to the sea, here in the source, where I ferried her soul. I wished that gentle spirit to find rest in the world she loved so well. Her, and another who may yet have a part to play, though that will depend on you. Take the flower, walk free, for you are free, to go where you wish, to believe what you will. That blue will be your guide, test and proof of your conviction. In darkness, seek joy, surrender not to sadness, and see beyond despair. Walk free, and bear the light for others to follow.
Can you tell me if you tempered me? I suppose if I'm questioning whether or not I'm tempered, I wouldn't be tempered.
And let it shine till the end, blinding and radiant.
That was all too brief. Already she seems so far away. My apologies if I startled you. Ever since we began our descent into Labyrinthos, I had sensed another's will, straining to reach out. Even with my particular talents, though, I was unable to make a connection at first, so weak and tenuous it was. Once I took hold of that wispy thread, imagine my surprise to discover it was Heidelin herself. Needless to say, it seemed wise to learn what we could before letting go. Her answers were more cryptic than I would have liked, but at least she left us with a guide of sorts, that unusual flower. Yes, we are definitely making progress.
You can't be serious. We've done nothing wrong.
Master Fortuno, what business has the Forum with us?
Obstruction and suppression, apparently.
Mistress Baldessian, our records show you facilitated the Scions' entrance into Sharlayan by claiming them as assistants for your organization.
Yeah, and I'm attuned to your 8th right now, bitch. You can't get me out.
We are aware of your investigations. After alerting the major institutions to the presence of potential troublemakers, we received word from an Archean custodian. A group operating under the auspices of the students, skulking about Labyrinthos and engaging in clandestine behavior.
Clandestine? We may not have entered Sharlayan as Scions, but we did naught to conceal our identities. our only purpose in this city is to seek the truth. I can think of no reason why our actions should warrant the Forum's intervention.
'Tis not our way to discourage the pursuit of knowledge, but the timing of such pursuits must be considered, not to mention their potential impact. With the world in chaos, we, the true caretakers of wisdom, have committed ourselves to an undertaking that demands the utmost discretion. And we will not risk its success by turning a blind eye to disruptive foreign elements in our midst.
What then is to be our fate? Will you put us on a ship back to Eorzea?
The Forum will convene to examine your case. The results of said inquiry will determine your future in this city. As for your absent companion, he has already been detained.
Graha! But why? Is reading a crime now, too?
Reading is encouraged, celebrated even. Not, however, of the volumes shelved in the restricted section of the library.
Oh, man. Why do all libraries have a restricted section? There's like
Refusing
a
to
good...
comply will only make matters worse. Let us instead treat this as an opportunity to open a dialogue with the Forum.
Silence is often one's best defense. I would advise against prolonging the proceedings with frivolous discourse. But enough. This is not the place for debate. The rostra await.
See, there was somebody talking about, like, why do all these libraries in fantasy have a restricted section? When it's like, you'd imagine they just wouldn't carry those books if no one's supposed to read them. Especially like Harry Potter, where it's like, this is a high school. Why does a high school have dangerous, forbidden texts in its library? Of course, the answer is that J.K. Rowling's not the best writer in the world, but I mean, hey.
Forgive me. I was careless.
We would have been detained regardless. This way, at least, we managed to stay together. I trust your time within the Forbidden Archives was well spent.
The Forum will come to order. This inquiry is now in session. As Speaker-elect, I will be presiding over the day's proceedings. Master Fortuner, would you be so kind as to restate the matter which compelled you to summon your colleagues with such urgency?
I'd like to point out, sir, to the Forum, the Ascian music is playing at the moment. Just saying.
As you are all aware, we recently denied Eorzea's request for Sharlayan assistance. Since then, certain individuals dissatisfied with our decision have taken it upon themselves to interfere with our work. They entered our nation masquerading as associates of the students of Baldessian. But these malcontents are better known as the Scions of the Seventh Dawn.
Kryle doesn't have her hood on. I barely ever see her without her hood on.
These militants wield influence with both the Eorzean and Eastern alliances, and are inextricably involved with the crises presently afflicting the world at large. Loose in our city, these warmongers sought to meddle with and expose matters of state secret. What are they, if not a dire threat to be expelled?
You have tarnished the good name of the students. Galuf would be ashamed.
Serf Baldessian was never one to forsake his fellow man. Even if this nation closed every door and retreated from the world, he would have found a way to help the Scions, help every soul of this star fight back against the coming doom.
A terrible enemy stands poised to lay waste to all we hold dear. In the face of such madness, Eorzea reached out to Sharlayan, a respected ally, in the hopes of forming a united front. Was your curt dismissal truly the best you could offer? Or are you so preoccupied with your momentous duty of an age long past that even the end of the world is unworthy of your attention?
Whence came this revelation?
From the mouth of a Forum member within fortuitous earshot.
Then it seems your findings support my own. The reason I visited the restricted shelves was to study records of the Forum's policy-making process, to better understand the historical trends underlying their most major decisions. At first glance, the positions of neutrality in war and the accumulation of knowledge above all else appear constant and consistent, the unchanging pillars of Sharlayan society. And once upon a time, I might have left it at that. These days, however, I am more attuned to the subtleties of governance, and so I noticed something odd. From a particular point in time, the purpose of these policies shifted. No longer was knowledge preserved for the benefit of society. Rather, society was to be gradually reshaped to ensure the preservation of knowledge. The most conspicuous and telling change was the one which befell Labyrinthos. Once little more than an oversized storehouse, an enormous allocation of funds saw it transformed into an advanced research and archival facility. I also discovered a fascinating account on the finances of our Dravanian colony. The settlement attracted students from far and wide, and the connections and tuition fees thus acquired were funneled into further improvements for the archives. Now, there is no question that our nation's progress is tied to the acquisition of wisdom. Nevertheless, the vast resources diverted for this purpose borders on the obscene. But returning to the matter of when, our change in course appears to have been made some 270 years ago.
The very same period when Sharlayan scholars in the hinterlands began a formal study of the ethereal sea. You found something, did you not? And whatever it was, gave rise to your oh-so-important duty.
But how would they keep it quiet for 200 years?
Mind your tongue, Archon. If you had seen...
Yes. We are bound by a duty we cannot ignore. Knowing this, what would you have us do? Abandon our vital work and join you on the field of battle? We will never choose the way of the sword. We will fulfill our mission, not through strife and bloodshed, but survival. Come what may, we shall live on. We must.
Do as you must, then. But we Scions will fight. until the heavens fall, until our last breath.
It looked a lot cooler in the trailer, Y'shtola.
Such misguided zeal.
My only thing that, like, I find interesting is...
Father, Master Fortuno. I fail to understand the stance you have elected to take. But by the same token, I have yet to find a compelling argument to counter the challenge you put to us in Gridania. Still, in the midst of my uncertainty, I must trust in myself to do what is right, as others have chosen to trust in me. So I will continue, as I always have, weighing the consequences of my every action, and allowing my hope for the future to inform my decisions.
That's quite enough. Have you all forgotten the reason for this assembly?
Skolok Monteshane. He's the head of the studium and an old friend of my grandfather's.
Honestly, every discussion devolves into some interminable debate. Terrible habit. Let's return to the topic at hand, hmm?
He does look a lot like...
By their own admission, these scions have resolved to fight alongside the Eorzea nations against the doom which swift approaches.
He looks a lot like Louis Soir.
But there exists no evidence of an attempt to incite our citizens to do the same. Furthermore, while our decision may well have been the correct one, we cannot simply bull our way through these disagreements without inviting doubts or objections. Put yourselves in their place. Who among you would leave a tome unopened if an elder forbid you read it with no reason given? No. If we're to quell further discontent, then we must conclude this matter with a fair and even hand.
Order! We will have order! Master Monteshane raises some valid points. Keeping such concerns in mind, I propose we enforce the following measures. Until further notice, the students of Baldessian are to cease any and all activities within the domain of Sharlayan.
You're telling me not to open the tome without giving a reason.
Refrain from any further investigation into the Forum's decisions and duties.
You're telling me not to open the tome without...
Comply with these restrictions will result in the immediate expulsion of your Scion associates.
You're doing the exact thing that the guy just said you probably shouldn't do.
Let us put this judgment to a vote. All in favor, raise your hand. I count 51 for and 48 against. The proposal is passed. Students, Scions, you have heard the Forum's judgment. Pray abide by it, or face the consequences. Honored members, I thank you for your time. This inquiry is concluded.
Isn't the... So the thing that they were studying at the Ethereal Sea was the anti-tower, right? Like, they were using it to study it? And we just go talk to Matoya and be like, hey, Sharlayan's being an asshole, and we know you love sticking it to them, so can you explain to us what the fuck you guys found in the Ethereal Sea? Also, okay, so yeah, I still find it weird that doesn't necessarily explain... They seem to be under some kind of magical contract because the guy physically couldn't talk. But, it doesn't explain the fact that, like, it's been 200 years since whatever they found. Which, it's a democratically elected nation, so the same people haven't been in charge for those 200 years. Like... Is it just conveniently everyone who gets elected has magic secrecy put onto them, and they all agree that the same course of action is correct? I don't know. That feels a little bit weird to me. I feel like there should be a tiny bit more friction. Ain't the gods for Scholar Montaigne. I absolutely loathe arguing in circles. Father may be right, that I'm still groping in the dark for answers, but I need him to know that I would never stop searching. I owed that much to Ironvold and myself. You may encounter some raised eyebrows, but do continue to claim the students as your sponsor whensoever the need arises. I believe that the guiding principles of the Scions, and I know my grandfather would have as well. Okay, yeah, she is. Okay, so her dad did found Baldessian. And everyone who had previously held it. Yeah, maybe, but I feel like you'd still find, like, if I got elected to a position and found out suddenly I had a spell of secrecy placed on myself that was not disclosed beforehand, I'd be fucking pissed. And, like, I'd be essentially trying to sabotage the forum at every opportunity. Even if it's not related directly to Zodiac shenanigans or whatever the fuck they found. Like, I'd be really pissed and just being, like, derailing a bunch of legislation. I apologize for the trouble I caused you. I was pondering the significance of what I had just read as I left the restricted section, and knocked over a security mammoth on my way out. I promise to be more vigilant next time. Well, at least we've been allowed to remain in the city, and our endless investigations have not been in vain. We now know that this mysterious duty of theirs began with whatever the Forum discovered in the ethereal sea. With our freedoms so sorely curtailed, however, we will struggle to learn a lot more of substance here in Charlian. The overall picture's grown clearer, yes, but that's in spite of the Forum being so maddeningly vague about this duty of theirs. Why are they so reluctant to explain their actions in plain words? Survival come what may, is Father's work so vital that it takes precedence over his own family? Alpha, no, Alice, it is you! Is this your mom? When I heard you'd been dragged from the Forum, I came as swiftly as I could. I'm so very glad they allowed you to stay. Mother? The entire Forum is Elidibus. They're all in white robes. It's right there. Amelia and Sylvia are at your service. And you fine people must be the Scions of the Seventh Dawn. How lovely it is to finally meet you. Mother, please, we don't wish to make things difficult for you. If word reaches Father that you were here... Oh, bother that. Am I to be chastised for speaking with my own children? I am well aware that you and Master Fortuno are not on the best of terms at the moment, but I have been absolutely desperate to see my darlings again. You will come by the house, won't you? I have gifts waiting. The timing couldn't be better. As matters stand, we shan't be going anywhere until we discuss the matters with Thancred's group and reconsider our options. Go visit your home. We'll be back at the Annex when you're ready to join us. I'm not sure What do you think? Missing novice? What a splendid day this turned out to be. The champion of Eorzea. I insist that you join us. But we must be quick about it, not for my own benefit, but, should my husband return and find you enjoying our hospitality, the servants will be made to suffer the consequences. If you'd be so kind as to escort my children to the estate? And then she was gone, and with her any opportunity to protest. Indeed, the matter is settled. Enjoy yourselves, you three. Her primary character trait is doing what will bother her husband the most. That is wonderful. Sure, Alphino thinks nothing of it. He invited classmates over all the time, but I wasn't the most... It was a different time for me, alright? I apologize, my mother is not one to take no for an answer. Still, I'm glad, relieved even, that to see her in such high spirits. What say you? Though it seems that we shall have little enough time to enjoy it, would you accompany us to visit our home? If we're going, let's get it over with, but be sure to stay in the entrance hall, no peeking into our private chambers, thank you very much. Why ever not? Your room is always perfectly neat and tidy. Everyone has things they'd rather keep to themselves, don't they? Cherished mementos you couldn't bring yourself to throw away, childhood toys. I mean, never mind. The Levier estate is that way, straight down the stairs. Come. When Alice and I were little, this bridge was as far as we were permitted to wander alone. I say alone, but my mother or a servant would always come somewhere nearby, keeping a watchful eye. Now look at us, traveling to different countries, different worlds even. As children, Alphino and I would often wait here for our father to come home from work. It must have been a day when his meetings ran long, because I remember growing restless and leaning out over the railing to watch the water rush by. Father, of course, arrived at that exact moment, came pounding down the path in panic, crying out my name. Oh yes, this is where I first practiced magic on an actual person. Alice had fallen, you see, and scraped her knee quite badly, so I tried casting the simple restorative spell I had only just learned. How she smiled when the wound closed, the joy and relief. That was, I believe, the very moment I chose healing arts as my main subject of studies. We used to come here all the time with Grandfather. In the summer, I would dip my hands and feet in the fountain and splash about. Not Alphino, though. Even back then, he wasn't fond of playing in water. He'd make any excuse to avoid it, which would explain how I came to swim like an auk and he'd sink like a stone. And you were here at last. Please do come in. This just sounds like home from Undertale. I think this has already been mentioned. This man's from the FBI.
Welcome home, my lady.
What? What are you gawping at?
Scion headquarters must seem squalid indeed.
I'll have you know I'm quite fond of the Rising Stones.
Lord Fortuneau is not to hear of this visit. And I should also like the children to have their gifts, ere my husband makes his return.
As you wish, my lady.
Master Alphino, Mistress Alice, if you'd accompany me upstairs.
We shan't be long.
The twins have been sending letters home from time to time, recounting their latest adventures. I am sure they withhold certain details, of course, if only to keep me from worrying. Yet a mother worries all the same. In the early days especially, I tried to support them as best I could, sending the Scion's coin and other such donations.
Oh, Tataru must love you.
Fortunately, they have found the strength to overcome adversity time and time again. Their words grow more confident with every letter, their depictions more vivid. The triumphs and defeats, the joys and sorrows. It is clear that they have come to find value in every experience. But of those they treasure most, it would seem that meeting you might be the most impactful.
Don't tell
Why,
Stinian that.
Since that fateful day, I do believe there has not been a single missive in which you were not mentioned by name. It is plain they care for you, and I am glad they have such a steadfast companion watching over them. Under normal circumstances, I would offer you tea, but alas, these are anything but. In any event, why don't you keep me company whilst we await my children's return? Perhaps you might regale me with a tale or two of your exploits.
Oh, new outfit!
When you mentioned gifts, I wasn't sure what to expect. Mother,
Oh, look how well it fits you. And the style is to your liking?
It's perfect. Exactly what I would have chosen. But please, tell me you had something different made for Alphino.
Naturally. You are hardly little children anymore. And while I shall miss dressing you in those precious matching outfits, I must respect the individuals you have grown to become. See for yourself.
Is he a sage now? Does he have the sage doodads?
Thank you for the splendid clothes, Mother. Stylish, comfortable, and eminently practical.
I am so glad you like them.
I wouldn't say
They
practical.
Are, however, missing one final touch.
It's Final Fantasy. There are always chains that don't need to be there.
If you'd allow me, Master Alphino.
Why do your servants look so sad? Okay, yeah, he is officially sage now.
Wait. Are these...
A sage's tools of the trade. They belonged to your father.
It's like carried by a Stinian like a suitcase, yes.
Though he may as well be chained to his desk these days, as a student he was often called upon to venture into the field. He wielded those armaments, both to heal and to harm in no few battles. None so fierce as those you two have braved, perhaps, but battles nonetheless. Thus did I pull them out of storage, to show you that he was not always the man who stands in vehement opposition to you now. And also because it would be a terrible waste of ridiculously expensive House Leveilleur commissioned artistry. I am told these devices are quite difficult to master, but someone of your extensive experience should soon have them darting about with grace and aplomb. May the wisdom in that crystal serve you well. And please, try to find common ground with your father, that you might come and go without need for this awful subterfuge.
We will, Mother. I promise.
My final gifts to you, before you run off, are an observation and a suggestion. Firstly, Fortuno has ever been a serious man, but it was only after you were born that he truly lost himself in his work. I may not know the Forum's inner workings, but I know your father's. The timing of that change in him holds some significance. Secondly, do not seek to best your father with words. Far better that you simply show him. Let him discover the merit of your actions, after they cannot be undone.
Oh, Mother.
We shall take your wisdom to heart. Thank you again for these gifts, and farewell for now.
Safe travels, my children. Eat well, stay warm, and keep your friends close.
And that was that. Only the gods know when we'll be back again. Thank you for indulging Mother's request. I can see it meant a lot to her, and I shall refrain from inquiring as to the content of your private conversation. Our visit was all too brief. For now, however, it will have to suffice. As will these tokens of home that we'll carry with us, these gifts to help us remember who we are and whence we came. But enough sentimentality. Let us return to the annex and rejoin our companions. Don't think for a moment that I'm jealous of Alphino's new weapons. They're far more suited to him than me. We left Eorzea in matching outfits, but our styles both in fashion and fighting have long since diverged. If anything, I'm proud of the differences between us. If I intend to master these sages' armaments, that will mean learning to imbue them with the same ether that I poured into Moonstone and Obsidian. 'Tis difficult to grasp the essence of such an entity. For me, it will help to think of the Nolus as allies in battle, simply a new form of the energy which I was manifesting into my carbuncle companions. For us to feel responsible for the schism of House Levier, would be pure hubris. After all, they were merely on the outskirts of what is essentially a family affair. And yet neither can we claim the indifference of strangers. To hear their mother welcome them so warmly was a joy and a relief. As curious as I am to learn the truth of this duty, I wonder what else the Forum's hiding. A calamitous secret whose origin lies in the ethereal sea. Duplicity aside, I do not believe Master Fortuno means us ill. Even the harsh words he held for his children stemmed not from anger, I think, but desperation. Enjoyed your time with the Leviers, I hope. I would ask how the twins fared, but their new outfits tell the tale. I only hope that we can help them reconcile with their father, that they might return home one day with their heads held high. In the meantime, we edge ever closer to the secret of the Forum tries to hide, and the flower bequeathed to you by Heidelin is sure to guide us going forward. I'm confident that once we've heard your report from Thavnir, we'll be well equipped to plot our next move. Since there have been progress in both investigations, shall we share the findings from our respective locales?
Your time in Thafnir has certainly been eventful. In my opinion, carrying out Vitra's request and assaulting the Tower of Zot should be our highest priority.
I agree. While I still have questions concerning the Forum and their grand undertaking, we have all but exhausted our avenues of investigation.
I vote we go ask Matoya, personally,
Simply pressing them any harder on the subject will almost certainly result in our expulsion. Therefore, I suggest we explore the ethereal sea connection by way of a letter to Master Matoya, then make our way to Thavnair.
I wonder, even with the protection these talismans afford us, what can we hope to achieve once inside the tower? According to Orenvold and Frodola's report, they were unable to free the Emolja. Worse, their attempts triggered the tower's defenses, which led to a summoning of Luna Ifrit.
What does it tell us that the Spires even have such defenses? Simply pulling a prisoner from the wall is fatal, thus the direct approach is doomed to failure from the outset. Any further measures to dissuade such actions seem unnecessary. Unless, of course, there is a way to free the prisoners without killing them. Then it stands to reason that any intruders will be met with overwhelming force.
The towers appeared throughout the world in but the twinkling of an eye. 'Twas by magical means these structures were raised, I surmise. A spire thus conjured must needs be maintained, and I suspect an arcane catalyst, some manner of core, doth lie hidden within. Destroy the core, and the tower ceaseth to be, thus liberating the captives without harm.
So we can hope, and I would prefer to enter the tower with a working theory than with no plan at all.
Assuming Ishtola's reasoning is correct, the chances of the defenses remaining dormant are small to none. Any primals will have to be dealt with, and defeating one will likely only lead to the summoning of another. Our every victory will only compound the prisoner's suffering.
May we not then divide our forces? Those proficient in healing will focus on sustaining the captives. That duty can be covered by Eorzea, Kryl, Yostela, and myself. The remaining scions will proceed with the search for the core. Admittedly, this strategy puts both parties at greater risk, but it should bolster our chances of saving the Arcosodra by a considerable margin.
What did Alice say? She knows a healing spell or two.
That she does. But I think Alice herself would assert that she's at her best when she's charging onto the breach. And from what I recall from the Grand Cosmos, there's a spring in her step when she fights by your side.
Ye gods, will you never let me hear the end of that? Rest assured that I will do what is asked of me, regardless of who I happen to be standing next to at any given time.
It seems we have a plan. All that remains is to carry it out. I will inform Radzit Han of our movements, so let us make our preparations and regroup near the tower.
The military post in what's left of the Hamsa hatchery should serve as a convenient staging point.
That sounds perfect. And remember, the experimental aetheryte at the confluence is there for those who need it, so there's no excuse for being late.
Can Thancred use normal aetherites? Like, Does Thancred just have to do use the experimental one every time because he can't natively attune to and travel? Why does the map still have clouds over it? They should have edited it so you can actually see Ilzabard. This way? Actually, I could probably go around this way. I'm gonna find out I can't actually go around this way and I'm making a horrible mistake. Yo, Nabdeen. Friends from Eorzea, we've been expecting you. You and yours will lead the mission to the tower, I'm told. The warding scales have been will be delivered soon. Till then, please stand by at the boat we have readied. When your fellows arrive, I will direct them to join you. We pray for your safety and success. This is the future of Aetheryte travel. I think I'll stick to boats. Hi, no warning. However emphatic could have prepared me for that. On account of which we are a little late, but fighting fit, mostly. My friends, permit me to thank you for accepting this mission. It must be him. Should we call you... We should call you Farshan, I suppose. Indeed, it would not do to confuse our soldiers. Very well, then. For our part, we are humbled that you should see fit to entrust us with your warding scales. But please convey as much to His Excellency. Okay, I do find it a thing with the... So, I do find it interesting that the whole, like, we have to keep the fact that a Great Worm is the guardian of Razat Han a secret thing weird, because, like, they know that the Satrap has a deal with a dragon already, so it's not like that part's secret. And, like, the nation supposedly is powerful enough to fend off, like, they're like, oh man, if they knew a Great Worm was here, people would come and try and, like, attack the Great Worm. But, like, that didn't happen in all of the years. And now the country has, like, an army and stuff. I don't know. The fact that Vitra has to be secret. Also, the thing that I don't understand is they're like, oh, all of, Varshan's like, oh, all of my predecessors are now, like, diplomats in foreign soil or whatever. No one questions that they're, like, that no one's ever met them. Like, no foreign diplomats have ever met previous people in Varshan's position. I don't know. For our part, we are humbled that you should see fit to entrust us with your warning skills. Please convey as much to His Excellency. One for each of you. Please accept them with my blessings. Our thanks. With these, we can go anywhere with those, anywhere those with the blessing of light can go. Not only for this operation either, but all the ones to come, we can finally break your monopoly on primals. In that case, they're all yours from now on. The previous Varshan lives in Canada, and he's very cool, and no, you can't meet him. I'm afraid we can't let you retire just yet. You're the Scion's brightest star, after all. If everyone's amenable to it, then let us review the strategy for a very good measure. As previously agreed, we will divide into 2 groups. Missing and his band will break through the tower's defenses and locate its core. Meanwhile, the rest of us will tend to the prisoners, who doubtless want for healing due to the duress of repeated summonings. The primals which the tower bringeth forth shall be deities of Thavnarian myth. As we have no prior experience with such foes, pray exercise the utmost caution when confronting them. We commence the operation at your word, my friend. The people of Thavnir, nay, the entire world, we must prevail. No pressure. Tower of Zot now accessible. Tower of Zot now accessible. I've been doing NPC party members this whole time, but I kind of want to do people. I need better item levels. Oh, all my shit. I did not update my set. That makes sense. Yeah, I was like, how am I not ready for this? Also, let me double check. I want to make sure that my portrait is correct. Vitra, Great Worm of the First Brood, and the hidden satrap at Razat Han, has bid the Scions across the Nuan Air and mount a foray into the tiny island's unnatural spire, the Talaferoi structure known by the locals as the Tower of Zot. Your companions join you on your journey, protective talismans in hand, prepared to fight whatever untamed horrors await you within. Come what may, you cannot allow Nidhana and her kin to perish in the grip of dark magics and darker designs. Anyway, while we wait this, I'm gonna head to the gold saucer really quick. to... Ah, damn. Oh my god, Grohat, he is still here! Oh, no. Oh, never mind. He is present as an NPC. Okay. Cool, I'm still doing the dungeon with the boyfriend. Wait, what are you... Sir, what are you doing? You are not... Is there more? No, I'll deal with this pack for now. Wait, do I not have everybody's... Oh, also, let me egg. Oh wait, oh no, it's the NPCs. Okay, yeah, this looks a lot nicer. No more, not as many particle effects. Buddy, why are you... Oh, he's a mentor. I trust him. If he thinks that he can stand in orange, that's fine. Unless, as a mentor, he is trying to teach us that your DPS will be stupid. Ah, shit. I'm guessing the final boss is going to be all of them together. Can we get through here, or we have to kill them all first? I think we have to kill them all first. The samurai is not charging ahead. Oh, fuck. Did you not have Swift cast up? I gotcha, buddy. When am I supposed to use Super Blide? I keep on, like... I probably should have used Super Blide at that point. We good? Who are we waiting on? They're coming. Oh, yeah, no, we're not continuing until we're all here. Oh, she's using Dragoon stuff. Oh. Oh god. Oh no. That's fine. I just realized, I feel like I'm getting the mechanics of this fight all wrong. Oh, everyone becomes... Oh. Heart of Conundrum. Reduces damage dealt, taking my party members or self by 15%. I think I probably want that instead of Rampart. No, it's the self-targeting thing. I want Rampart more, but I should be using that also. Mash it on cooldown. Okay. Good to know. I'll put Rampart down there then. Oh, I shouldn't have dropped my thing. The costume must protect the tower. Must you? Also, these guys don't look... These girls don't look very lunar. I don't know if I should be focusing any one of them specifically. That answers that question. Oh shit, there's so much stuff going on. Maybe over here? Alright, they're down. Oh. Cool. Got all the things. First dungeon down.
Is everyone all right?
We fortified the captives with what magics we could. Have the defenses been disabled? All appears quiet for the moment.
Oh.
The lower floors were disturbing enough, but this place feels wrong. The ether is heavy and thick, like wading through a quagmire.
I believe we stand in the tower's beating heart. What sayest thou, Stola?
I see it. Ether siphoned from the land runs up through the spire, flowing to a single point. This is the core we seek. Yet something is off. As large as this structure is, it siphons far more ether than is required to sustain it. 'Tis as if the core is feeding on the energy, consuming it. I need to take a closer look. Curious. There is something there embedded inside the core. A man's limb.
This is what we came to destroy?
Yes, if you would be so kind.
Thank you, Nidhogg.
And that should be the end of it.
Neat, I'm gonna stab it now. Yeah, gang.
What now?
The tower's disappearing because the core is gone. We established this.
My
Maybe
theory
we...
that the tower might come crashing down following the core's destruction doth appear to be correct.
Bully for you! And how are we supposed to survive the fall?
Yeah, we probably should have thought about this part. Do none of you know how to cast Featherfall?
What of the prisoners below?
The floor beneath our very feet dissolves. Brace yourselves!
I pray I'm not too late.
Okay, Graha knows Featherfall.
Oh, what happened? Where are we?
By my reckoning, we're still on the island where the tower stood. But 'tis as if it never existed. Hardly a scratch. But how?
Graha wove a levitation spell at the last moment. Large enough to catch everyone, it would seem.
That explains the lack of obvious injuries.
The expenditure of so much ether has taken its toll. He will need plenty of rest, but should otherwise be none the worse for wear.
We should go in expecting this next time.
Then the immediate problem is what to do with our new friends here. They'll be much changed for their time in the tower. Even if their bodies are intact, I doubt we could say the same for their minds.
Angelo and I will take care of that.
I have every faith in you, Alize, but there are just too many for you to treat alone.
We'll send at once to Eorzea for more Porksies, and call on the local mages to lend a hand.
Hail, Scions!
You should probably tie up these guys while they're still passed
And
out.
it simply disappeared. What happened here?
The threat is banished, and thy people delivered. They are, however, in need of treatment, and we of a secure locale and helping hands to assist us in its provision.
You shall have all this and more. Come, let us convey these unfortunate souls to the city.
Carrying all those Matanga may have been the true struggle. The liberated prisoners are being transported to Razat Han for treatment. Alice and Y'shtola will oversee the administration of the tempering treatment, with support from those who know a healing spell or two. We'll go and join them in the city once you've had a moment to catch your breath. Had enough rest, have you? You never were one for being idle. Right. Varshan bade us come to Megaduda at our earliest convenience. The others will join us there once they have finished tending to the prisoners. Oh, wait, on second thought, you and Astinian should go on ahead. I need to make a quick detour to the Great Work. We left Graha in the alchemist's care, you see. Best fetch him before he's crammed into a specimen jar. Just you and me, then. The guardsmen at the gate should wave us through. With the tower gone, I expect the state of alert will be lifted. Honored Scions, you're free to enter at your leisure. Alas, I cannot leave my post, but I am afraid you must make your own way. Should you require directions in the city, the sentry station at the fountain atop the steps should be glad to assist you. Though I have been to Razathan before, this place is a veritable maze. Rather than risk getting lost, we had best ask for directions from the sentry at the fountain. Lead the way, and don't expect me to act as your tour guide like certain others. Ah, Master Missing, I presume. I understand that you're here for an audience of the Satrap. If you require directions to Megaduda, I should be glad to provide them. Satrap's residence is situated in the Dharma, the highest part of Razathan. To get there, I would normally recommend a route that takes you by the Bazaar's city, in the city's north. Due to the state of alert, however, most businesses are currently closed and the Aetheryte disabled. As such, I will provide you with an alternate path. First, please ascend the steps to the fountain, then continue left. There will be more steps. Upon ascending them, you will emerge at Pasca's Path. Proceed through the large door on your right, and then you will arrive at the Ruvia Fibers. Within, you will find another sentry who will give you further guidance. In other words, we head up. Sounds straightforward enough. So I can't attune to the Aetheryte? That's annoying. Heading to Megaduda, are you? In that case, please follow this hallway to my right and go through the door at the top of the stairs. You'll emerge to the entrance to the airship landing, where another sentry should be able to assist you. Incidentally, if you ascend the steps to either side of me, you'll find the workshops of Ruviada Fibers. Though you're free to observe the artisans, take care not to lose your way. Thavnarian weave. Hard to imagine more vibrant stuff. I dare say Emmerich would be partial to the gold thread and the blue, of course. He loves his blue. I never put much thought into what I wear. A spare set of clothing is usually all I carry, and if that isn't enough, I can always obtain something locally. If you're here for an airship, I'm afraid all flights have been suspended until further notice. So the state of alert is still in effect. Perhaps it's for the best. That aside, we're not here for an airship. We have business at Megaduda. Oh, in that place, permit me to direct you. From here, it's quite simple, really. Ascend these steps and then continue straight ahead and cross the bridge. You can't miss it. Are there any talking points that I have missed? Over here. I remember passing by here with Varshan. The situation being as it was, he regretted not being able to show us the sights. Life is yet to return to normal here, but when it does, you ought to pay it another visit. The city is confusing. Its food is quite good. I'm partial to Hamza myself. The meat's surprisingly tender and flavorful. Greetings and welcome to Megaduda. May I inquire after your business? We are members of the Science of the Seventh Dawn, have come at the invitation of His Excellency. Of course, we've been expecting you. I'll show you to the audience chamber if you would. Please follow me.
Are we the last to arrive? I hope we've not kept you waiting.
Not at all. Your comrade is feeling better, I trust.
Much better, thank you. Harness remedies are certainly potent, in more ways than one.
One becomes accustomed to the taste, although I hope you never have cause to do so. Pray, take your ease.
Boyfriend.
Full glad I am to see you all unharmed.
Valiant scions, for your heroism, you have my boundless gratitude. You cast down that dire tower and set free its hapless captives. You cleanse their souls of its corrupting influence. No words of thanks will suffice. In place of platitudes, I offer a bounty of warding scales. Pray accept your due reward, along with the goodwill of Radzatan.
Alchemists throughout the land were put to work in the forging of your talismans. The finished ones have been collected, and now await you at the High Crucible of Alchemia. Present this letter when you are ready to take them into your possession.
Oh my god, there's a physical thing in his hand.
We are humbled by your generosity. Know that the inventive wisdom of Radzatan will be vital in restoring serenity to our star.
Every single one of those scales came from you, didn't they? You must still be in such pain.
Tis of no moment, a mere annoyance compared to the dreadful suffering inflicted upon this land and its people.
Albeit brief, my involvement in the Dragonsong War afforded me a glimpse of the myriad sorrows which consumed both dragon and man. Though you were half a world away, such tragedies as befell your kin must have affected you deeply. And yet, you chose to live among men.
In the age when that conflict first bloomed, my choice had already been made. In some distant place, man slew dragon, and dragon slaughtered man. Yet no hate could I muster for those smiling faces which did look to me for guidance. Not even my brother's righteous rage could rally me to his cause. I huddled here, secret and still, hoping against hope that which I had built would remain untouched by the chaos and carnage.
'Twould seem we share the same desire for peace, great Vritra. To that end, I wonder if we might trouble you with another question. The Telophoroi are intent on recreating the final days, an apocalyptic event which we know to predate the sundering of the star. As the longest lived among us, know you aught of this terrible cataclysm?
Nay. When war and strife drove my sire from his home, he crossed the great expanse with only our unhatched eggs as company. He alighted upon a shattered source, its 13 reflections long since scattered beyond the rift.
Yeah, Vreetra's cool.
Of events preceding his arrival, he knoweth naught, save that which Hydralin hath deigned to disclose.
I see. So again, 'tis the inscrutable Hydaelyn to whom you must look for answers.
Seek you to divine the will of this star? If so, I have a tale which may afford you some small comfort. Tis a story from my youth, many, many years ago. To my sire, I once posed the question, of all the stars in the sky, why didst thou settle upon this one? To which Midgardsummer did reply, 'twas the last bastion of hope. He believed so long as Hydaelyn endured, so too might dragonkind. Solemn and portentous were his words. What deeper meaning they held, I could not, dared not pursue. 'Tis a stone I've left unturned ever since.
Your dad's kind of sleeping because of events that happened in Omega, but we can't directly reference that because there's a chance that you haven't played Omega yet.
That whatsoever Hydralyn does strive towards, 'tis an ideal which hath earned my sire's conviction.
Thank you, Vreetra. You've given us warm reassurance in a world gripped by cold uncertainty.
While I'm sure we all have a great many questions, I think it's time we collect the talismans and be on our way. Our fight against the Telophoroi is far from finished.
We must take our leave, but please do inform us if we can provide any further assistance.
Prithee, a moment. There is one whom my sire hath judged worthy of honor and respect. The one known to men as Eorzea's champion. This hero of renown and rumor, 'tis thee.
I only wish he could be here with us now. Are we gonna actually talk about Omega?
I know of his clash with Omega,
Okay.
and the long slumber which was his price.
If you didn't play Omega, did you just not have the option of that?
Yet even closed in sleep, my father's eyes are far from blind. He is watching over thee, watching over this world. 'Twas a revelation most pleasing that thou, a child of man, had gained Midgardsummer's trust. But alongside mine elation runneth a rivulet of dread. For upon thy life's reel wind too many threads of fate, power, weal enmeshed with woe. Amidst this tangled knot, thou shalt know no rest. 'Tis an endless confluence of forces, a struggle without surcease. More terrible still is the attrition wrought upon thy companions, as they are swept up in the storm of thine existence.
Horsefant? Oh yeah, Papalimo's dead. Minfilia. Are we just not gonna go to Horsefant? There we are. Saving him for last.
Take heart and protect them well. They will be your strength and your salvation. The hope thou wilt need come the end. Even cowering behind my curtain, I know the suffering of the powerful. I have watched my siblings driven mad by loss. Thus do I exhort thee to spare no effort to keep thy loved ones safe.
Apologies. We hadn't meant to interrupt.
It's just that we do have a history of suddenly collapsing, and when you didn't follow us out...
Do you have a history of suddenly collapsing?
'Tis I who must apologize. I have detained your champion overlong with idle chatter. Go. At war's end, I pray I welcome thee back into my hall, where together with thy joyful comrades, you may toast your triumph.
A thing that I find interesting about Vritra is he doesn't speak in, like, ancient dragon tongue. All the other ones do, but Vritra doesn't, specifically. Which I guess makes sense, because he's also, like, living as Varshan, and it would be a little sus if this random Aura child is suddenly speaking in, like, ancient dragon speak. But I gotta get to work. So let's go ahead and raid somebody. Kieran's playing Persona 3. Let's go over there again. Raid message, you found the missing persons. F, you're on YouTube. It is twitch.tv/ChocolateKieran that we're heading over to. Thank you for chilling with me. I think I'm going to stream from Pokemon Go Fest this weekend. I'm not sure. But I kind of want to. But we'll see. Maybe I'll be live tomorrow and Sunday with Pokemon Go. Until next time, though, I'll be seeing y'all